Hey everyone, Jeremy here, RC Collaborative. Today we're just going to go over some essentials that you need to keep on you to maintain and use your Arrma vehicles.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true, but the world is pretty cold, you might need a sweater too.
Hey guys, welcome to the garage here. I've got some stuff pulled out. I want to try to show you some things that you may want to consider keeping on hand if you're going to get like an Arrma Kraton or a Talion or an Outcast or any of the 6S vehicles that Arrma has. These are some of the basic things you probably want to get and keep on hand. The trick to any RC vehicle is having the proper tools and supplies to maintain your vehicle. Sometimes it comes out of the box and it isn't right. For instance, this linkage here, there's a pivot point right here, there's two of them. Well, in my vehicle, actually the linkage fell off and I lost that special screw there. So one of the things I recommend is like taking some of your steering apart and putting thread lock on it, and making sure that everything is thread locked. So thread lock is one of the #1 things you should have on hand. I would probably just buy 2 bottles at once, because depending on how much you go through and maintain your vehicle, you can use a good bit of it. So thread lock's one of the good things to have on hand. Anytime you take any screws out, put them back on with thread lock. So especially with like your steering, you don't want anything to come off. And your motor mounts or anything like that, metal on metal, you usually put a little thread lock on it. One of the best things you could possibly buy are a good set of tools. Do not use the Allen wrenches that come with the vehicles. You're just going to strip screws and be really frustrated. These are the MIP tools. These are the best tools you can buy. They're about $40 a set. You can buy other tools out there that are cheaper, but they're not going to work as well as these and they won't last as long. So if you want tools that are going to last, then just go with the MIP tools and be done with it. If not, you can go on eBay and find sets for like 10 bucks of generic stuff, but you might as well use an Allen wrench at that point. So that's one thing you definitely want to keep on hand. I recommend in my other videos replacing the pinion gear with a Techno pinion gear. So if you haven't done that, definitely consider getting a pinion gear. Stick to whatever the stock size is for the teeth, and you can get a Techno. And it's good to have spares or multiple sizes on hand so you can change them. That's another item you use your thread lock for. I also recommended that you replace your bearings. If you don't want to replace your bearings right away, at least buy the bearing kit and keep it on hand, because sometimes you'll work on your car and find that a bearing's exploded or it fell apart, and you'll have the bearings on hand to put in. And if you've already bought the bearing kit, it's always good to have some extras when possible. Bearings do go bad, so having extra bearings is the other thing I would say to keep on hand in your box if you can. Differentials are the next thing. Taking care of your differentials is something that you'll need to do. They have little O-rings inside of them, and they've got these seals. Well, it's actually like this gray seal on the bag here that seal it in there. So it's good to have extra gaskets and extra O-rings, and so you can take this apart. And to work on the bearings and clean them and change them, you have to take the diff apart. So it's good to have the parts on hand to do that. And the other thing you'll need when doing the differentials is there's Mugen Psyche Diff Shims that you can buy that help with the differential. You've got extra shims to go on the outside of the diff, and then we've got shims here that go on the input gear and the diff casing. So having these different kind of shims on hand are good when you're setting your differential to make sure they're tight but not too tight or not too loose, and you get good performance out of it. And not really good performance, just you don't want to strip any gears on your differential. If it's too loose, it'll skip and jump and break gears and chew them up, and then you'll have an expensive replacement. you'll end up buying a bag like this. These are $45, and it's a complete differential with an extra input gear and everything in it. Hopefully you'll never have to buy one of these. Something I just happen to have. When you're putting your differentials in the car, you want to put grease on these teeth, on the input gear and on here. I use this black grease. I buy the big tub like this, and then I found this silicone jar that I put the grease in. It's like my travel tote for grease. So I just keep it refilled. So you can keep this in your box. I know some people use this kind of grease. You can use white lithium. You know, as long as you put something in there that's good. One of the best things you can always have on hand, and probably the first things I ever purchased on any vehicle, are spare rod ends. It's like this is a spare rod end for there. And then I use upgraded RPM rod ends for the middle here, so you keep spares of those. I've got spare rod ends here for my Mugen cars. I've got spare rod ends from 10 scale cars that I don't even have anymore, but you know, I just keep them on hand here. So rod ends are something that's really good to keep on hand, because you're gonna break them eventually, or they're gonna start to wear out and they'll start coming off the car randomly, and that'll be frustrating. I hate when that happens, really do. Some XT90 plugs are a really good idea to have on hand, so you can solder up different things if you got battery charger or whatever. At some point you're probably going to use some XT90 plugs. I've got videos that show you how to solder, and I've done plenty of XT90 plugs on video. Alright, so we got all that. This Loctite, you know, the screws that go in here and hold your pillow balls in. Your pillow ball goes in like this, and then you have the screw that holds it in. You can put a little bit of thread lock on those threads, and it's okay for the plastic, it's fine, and it'll help keep those from backing out. You can do all sorts of stuff with thread lock that'll make your life easier. Alright, so we got that. Alright, now the last thing that I have up here, it's differential fluid and shock fluid. So it's good to have all this stuff on hand, so you can, like I said, you're going to be taking your diffs apart and you're going to change the fluid every time you do that. Plus, when you first get your vehicle, it's a good idea just to change the fluid, because the diff fluids are too thin. So for like the Kraton, I would put 80K in the front and the rear, and I would use 500K in the middle. Alright, and that's good for bashing. So your Kraton, your Talion, your Outcast, if you're out there bashing and you're doing stunts or just playing around, this is a great combination. Some people have done 1 million. I've tried it, and I can't tell the difference really between the 1 million and the 500. And it's much more difficult to get inside the differential. It's super thick. So I don't really recommend the 1 mil. The 500K works good in the middle, and you could probably even go less. You do like 300K, but it definitely needs to be in this range. Now, if you were trying to race, if you had like a Talion or a Typhon, and you're trying to go racing, then you could consider doing 10K in the front, 7 in the middle, and 5 in the rear. And then you've got another combination, 15 in the front, 10 in the middle, and 7 in the rear. And you can do, I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do with this. You could go broke buying all the different kinds. I don't feel you really need to for the Arrma platform. I feel like this is all you really need. If you're racing, then you're probably not watching this video anyways. But just to give you some ideas. And then for the shocks, again, if you were racing, you could probably put 45 in the front and 40 in the rear. Or if you're bashing, I would put 70 in the front and 60 in the rear. So if you're going to be doing big jumps and sending it, then the thicker oils might be a better bet for you. So this is kind of an overview of the stuff that you'll need to keep on your box to maintain your vehicle, keep it performing well. These differentials start to leak sometimes. You gotta watch. They'll leave like a sappy puddle of fluid on it underneath them, and that's when you know it's leaking. It's time to take it apart, put some new O-rings in it, throw a new gasket in it, put some new fluid in it, and go. If you use the Mugen Psyche Diff Shims, there's a big washer that's not in this bag right now because I don't have any more, that go in between the gear and the O-ring. They go between the pin and the O-ring, and it helps keep the O-rings from wearing out. So I recommend the Mugen Psyche Shims. So there's that. If you have any questions, this isn't everything I keep with me. This is definitely just like a baseline of some minimum stuff that I would say that you'd need to have in order to maintain your vehicle and stay happy. If you run into any issues or you have questions, please put your comments and questions below, and I will definitely reply. I try to get to everybody. I don't think I really miss anybody, but if you got questions, I'll definitely get back to you. Other than that, have a good night. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching my videos and supporting me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment below. Please let me know if the videos helped you, what you would like to see in the next videos, and if there's anything we can do to make the quality of the videos better for you, that would be great. If you're a vendor and you'd like to send me something to review, a product review, or would like to sponsor me for racing, my email is just down here. Send me an email, we'll work it out. Other than that, collab on, guys.